Let's have a quick recap. Last class what we discussed. Then we'll talk about today's topic. Today date is 29/09/2024. Recap. What topic we discussed last class? We started VNet, which is Azure Network. The service called is Azure Network. In that we understood how to create VNet, how to create subnet, how to create resource in respective resource means what is a VM in respective VNet and subnet, right? We created a two VM in same subnet and validated, verified, connect, verify network connection between two VMs, right? So both are connected. So default, it will not be able to ping due to firewall on state. So very simple and basic we have started validating the IP address range of respective subnet, right? So we have validated both the VMs are connected and pinging connectivity. We have checked it. Yes or no? Anyone has any question? These are topic we discussed. Anyone has any question?
No.
I hope everyone has done the lab completely. What I have done for created VNet, created.
Yes.
It's all working fine for you guys, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, for me it's working fine.
Perfect.
Uh,
So
Neil, actually, I have one doubt.
go ahead.
Yeah. While creating the virtual machine,
Mhm,
if you are not specifying any public IP,
mhm,
while creating the VM, we are selecting none for public IP.
mhm.
So in that case, we are able to connect the VM through
No,
subnet.
if you, when you say none, right, it won't be able to get the public IP. Don't select the none.
Okay.
If you select the none means what? It will not get the IP address, public IP address.
Okay. But we are able to connect inside the subnet, right? That we share.
That would be there. That would be
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Inside machine will be connected, and because when you wanted to take RDP from outside, you
Mhm.
would need a public IP address. But
Okay.
obviously, that internal IP address has connection established already.
Okay.
There is no issue with that internal network.
Okay.
That will be still established.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right. What we are going to talk about today, little more advanced, the same topic. We will be creating same subnet. I mean, creating a new subnet within VNet. Okay, we will be creating a same subnet within VNet. So far, we created only single subnet, correct? We created only single subnet. Now we would be creating today new subnet within VNet, which is we call as a multiple subnet in single VNet, correct? So how it will be going to establishing the connection between the subnet? We will be talking about. Also, we will create two VNet, and each VNet multiple subnet and validate for connections. It's a little bigger level. Okay. All aspect we are validating. You getting my point?
Yeah.
So what we are going to do in this topic. Okay. So let's see this. Only 1 minute. Let me just log into my system. Okay. Now, give me a minute. All right. Okay. So you know that. Go to the portal.azure.com. Okay. So we have established a virtual network, VNet 1. Under the VNet 1 Central India, we have created, and we have the one subnet. Okay. And if I'm going to creating another subnet within the VNet, which is subnet 2. Okay. Subnet 2 would be 10 dot, what was the range of IP address here? 10.0.0.16, right? It is a VNet address space. Then I would be going to create here. So earlier, what was my subnet? It is 10.0.1.0. So I can create 10.0.2.0, right? So subnet, and subnet name would be subnet 2 and 0.2.0/24, where you will get the 251 IP address in this. Right. So we have the another subnet we created, right? So in this subnet, when you see this some connected devices also, you would be able to see some connected devices. The interface has been connected of the subnet 1, right? Subnet 1, and the connected devices are the respective VM interface, network interface says that is in the IP address has been released 10.0.1.4 and 10.0.1.5. This is how we need to validate it. How many machines or how many networks are connected of each subnet. You would be have a list of IP addresses detailed, and you would be able to see this here in a subnet detailed. If I created another VM under subnet 2, you would be able to see here subnet 2, and that IP address would be releasing what was the range of the IP address for the subnet 2. It should be
10.0.2.
perfect. 10.0.2. This is how we need to validate, right? Okay. Let's come back here and let's go to, okay, so duplicate. Let's stay in this page, and I'm going to use it to go home here. Click on home and go to the virtual machine. I'm going to creating another VM virtual machine. Okay, so let me power on this machine first, then we'll be going to discuss where we can check that with network status. Okay, create a machine. Select your existing resource group, and I'm going to create a VNAME VM3, and I would be selecting the same region, which is Central India, and I don't need any availability zone. We will be talking about in detail later part when we are going to discussing on VM topic. Okay, now 2019 server, and give the same configuration of two CPU and username Neil and password. Everyone are installed RDC manager and able to connect.
Yes.
Okay. RDC connection manager, and you'd be able to RDP the machine, right?
Yes.
Okay. And important here, keep the disk related same as it is, which is I would need for the standard SSD. The important part is networking, where we are going to talk about now. VNet 1 is default, but I would be selecting subnet for, what is that?
Subnet.
Subnet. There is a requirement come to you, actual, you know, there is requirement come to you, the actual production or use cases. Uh, please create a 2 VM on the subnet. They will give the use cases, or they'll give this task or incident, something they will be creating ticket into us, or they'll sending email. There is urgent requirement, a virtual machine needed, and these virtual machine are or belongs to specific subnet. They will be mentioning the subnet, and you would be able to see this, that subnet r belongs to which vnet. Okay, this naming convention might be different, but you would be able to find what vnet it is, and that subnet respect to subnet would be under belongs to which vnet. You need to, when once you create selected the vnet, it will be automatically the subnet would be selected, right? These subnets are fall under respective vnet, so carefully we need to check respective vnet, and respective subnet would be selected. And every VM by default there is a interface, network interface. Automatically the, you know, VM3, the same name of the VM, same name of the VM, it will taking the name of the VM, and it's take hyphen IP, the public IP address services get created. And as of now, just select the basic. We would be talking about in detailed advanced level, right? For the public IP address topic, how you will be getting that public IP address. I don't want this public IP address. I don't want to allow the allow the access over the public IP address due to security reason. I wanted to allow them to securely internal IP address. How we wanted to plan, we'll discuss that. And same as it is, keep the inbound route ports is allowed 3389. This is the RDP connection where you are accessing RDP over the internet, which that RDP protocol, right? The 3389 is would be needed. We will be talking again for the network security, where we are talking about security, how you are restricting from respective services. I would need only RDP. I would need only application access. Uh, so these are all, there are 65,536 ports are there, and we need to allow or deny from the infrastructure point of view, securely how we wanted to allow and deny for the access point of view. That would be talking about inbound and outbound port. We will be talking about, shortly. That's it. So this all, you can keep the other options are as it is. Okay, now next go to this and create it. Okay, let's process, click on create. Let's process this.
After creating the VM, we can able to change the subnet.
You can change the subnet.
Yeah.
Your question asking change the subnet, right?
No, we can modify. We can able to modify the subnet or
To change to the different subnet. I
yeah.
don't think so. Let me check that.
Yeah.
Because that IP address has been released
Okay.
from the respective subnet.
Yeah.
Okay. So that subnet is been belongs to particular VNet, right? That IP address already got released. So when you wanted to change that to subnet, different subnet, you see this VNet and it belongs to subnet 2, right? Now, when you go to the properties of this VM, okay, in this overview, you would be able to see this subnet 2. Okay. Now there's a VNet and there is
Below we have properties tab.
right. Let's see this. You need to have a subnet, right? So we have the two subnet. When you say the connected devices, there would be interface. Okay. Now just refresh it. See this? There is a second subnet has been created and IP address will be releasing. Correct? Now this IP address, this interface you wanted to change to the subnet different one. Okay. IP address already released and move to no, you cannot. Okay, you need to turn up this machine. But VM you will not be able to directly change it, but you should be changing the interface. There is a possibilities actually. What is the process? I'll tell you. What
Okay.
you can do. So there is a VM. Okay, 3. The network interface. Network interface. What is network interface here? This is the interface, right? It is uh, tagged to subnet 2. Correct? Subnet 2. Okay. Now what you can do? Delete NIC. Only you can delete the NIC. Before deleting the NIC, what you can do? Create only NIC, network interface card, then map it subnet, which subnet you want it to be. Okay, which subnet need to be mapped. And just keep as it is. Then you have the VM and existing NIC already there, which is VM 319. And what you can do, you can unmount, okay, and associate with the newly created NIC, which is having different subnet. That be possible. So with the VM level. So how it would, I'll explain it for in detail. Okay. So this is possible for VM is created now. When we are going to talk about network security group, NSG. right? Then we will be discussing this topic. When you go to the VM tree, there is options called as a network security group. You would be able to see there is a network security group default. NSG. Okay, under the networking here, when you click on this interface, this should be belongs to IP configuration. See this here. This is VNet 1 and this is VNet 3. You wanted to change this to subnet 1. You can change it. Should be interface. And it is no need to be create another interface also, but existing interface can be matched correctly. Where you want to go with interface, and you can associate with this VM3 and go to the networking interface. You need to select networking interface, and in this interface go to the IP configuration. Then you can change it subnet to associate. Earlier this feature was not available. Okay, earlier this feature was not available. Once you, what was options earlier, you need to delete that existing interface, then create an interface and associate with this like this. But now they are giving us the option for change directly from here to here. Now whatever the IP address you received 10.0.2 range, and once you associated, you have to reboot once this machine after changing the subnet, because that IP address would need to be get reconfigured or recreated for respect to the subnet. Getting? Understood, everyone? Good question. All right. Now, okay, these kind of question, these kind of confuse most important, guys. So because might be sometime okay wrongly by mistakenly wrongly created, by mistakenly selected for different subnet, but later we realize okay this VM should not be in a uh, it should not be in a existing subnet, it would be changing the different subnet. Possible to change that subnet? Yes, it's possible. Okay. All right. So VM3 is created, belongs to which subnet? Same region, same VNet, and but network is different, right? How it would be a MS Paint? Let me just revalidating you. I have my VNet, which is VNet 1, and we had created subnet 1. The IP address would be 10.0.1.0/24. VNet 1 should be 10.0.0.0/16. And this would be Central India region. And this subnet, we created 2 VM. And this subnet, and IP address has been released for this VM to 10.0.1.4, and second one is and second one is 10.0.1.5. and we have validated both the VMs are established, both the VMs are able to connect it. Now same things, we are created different subnet in the same VNet, subnet 2, the IP address would be 10.0.2.0/24, correct? And we have created another VM. This is called VM1. This is called VM2. And this is called VM3. Now tell me, does these two machines are can able to connect it?
No.
Anyone answer?
No, we cannot able to.
No, we cannot.
You cannot? Just a minute, someone is pinging. Actually, I'm working today, so just okay. Now see this 2.0 and 1.0. Okay, let me just save this. Let's connect this machine and validate the connection now. What would be the public IP address of this VM3? Take the public IP address. When you click on save, right, you would be able to see the name it's saved. Okay, then only you need to change the public IP address and connect it directly from here. And I'm going to selecting for VM3. So once you turn off the machine, you would not be able to say this. You would not be able to see the same public IP address. Public IP address is the dynamic. Okay, dynamic means what is it is getting changed. When you click on the VM1, you would be able to see that it would not be the same for the last time what you got the public IP address. It would be the same. So just to take the public IP address, click on the VM1 properties and paste it. And just connect the machine. Oh, let me check IP address. I mean password. It's not taking.
Actually, in L1, I was facing the same issue. It was not taking the password.
We can reset the password, it's not a problem. I'll tell you how to do this.
Okay.
You can go to setting. You would be able to you will have options called reset password. Some of the options got changed. You would be earlier it was having the one options called as a password reset. So now they have got changed to this option where it is comes under for security.
It's in help password reset.
Where is that?
There is a help in left side panel.
Where you see that help password reset?
Wait.
There is options here only. So there would be somewhere here. Here you're saying, right?
After monitoring automation
So it
help.
is under the help. Yeah,
Yes.
right. Under the help, you should say the reset password. Okay. Now earlier it was directly it was reset password. Now they put into that is in help. Okay, username and just change a password here. Password is set and it is updating now. Done. So now come back here, VM1. Yep. Okay. And same things you can do it for VM3. Okay. So let's change the password again for VM3. Virtual machine, VM3. Reset password. Let's validate. Okay. All right. Now, what would be the IP address of VM3 now? Should be 10.0.2.2.4, correct? Two dot four, right? I'm in VM3 now. What I will do, I will turn off the firewall again. And just check that is in. You'll be able to connect. Remember, in Azure, by default, within a VNet, no matter how many subnet you created, Microsoft has taken care to connect between the subnet by default. The routing has been already created. Ping 10.0.2.4 series. Actually, there's a two different network, correct? Getting my point, guys? There's a two different network, correct? There's a 1.0 and 2.0. Traditionally network, you won't be able to connect between these two network. You would be needed for the router, for the routing point. Between two network, in a traditional network, you would be needed for a router to connecting between the two subnet or two network. But this connection by default established, this connection already been created backend. There is a Microsoft backbone cable. It's a high fiber optic fastest cable has been created backend. Hence, within a VNet, no matter how many subnet you're creating, and all the subnet are talking to each other by default. You no need to have any additional configuration required. That is the beauty of this. Within a VNet, all the subnets are connected each other, and default network connection established. But only need to validate for the firewall needs to turn up, then you need to check. If it not turn up the firewall, you won't be able to connect the machine. There is a, again is a very basic. We would need to have a clear understand. This question would ask you interview. Okay, if you are good in network, right, and you have creating infrastructure, multiple subnet, multiple, single VNet, multiple subnet, they will ask you how this subnet one can able to connect subnet two. You strongly say that just there we can able to connect. Earlier someone says this will not be able to, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So the in Azure network, within a VNet, no matter how many subnet you're creating, all the subnets are routing connection, which guys we need for the routing connection by default is established. We would be able to connect each other by default. Is this clear? Just clear,
Yes.
everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the requirement come to you now. The requirement come to you now. Create a new VNet. Create another VNet. In the same region. Try to understand this concept. Now, what we have done for so far? What we have done for so far now?
We are creating the VMs in the same region.
We will be creating a new subnet within a VNet and multiple subnet in a single VNet. We have done it. And each VNet, multiple subnet we created and validate the connection. So default connection established, right? So we have validated is all these things, right? Within the VNet, all the subnets are connected to each other. Default network connections are established, right? Now, what is that? Create another VNet in a same region and create a subnet of the existing VNet. It would be like this. I have another VNet now. Going to creating here. This VNet would be VNet 2 and would be the Central India. And I'm going to create another subnet here. Which is subnet 3. Or you can say subnet 3. And I would be creating one more VM here. This is VM4. And this VNet 2, you can take any range of IP address, whichever you would like to. Example, if you take for the 192.168.10.0/16, and you would be creating here 192.168.10. You say 0. Not 1. 192.168.0.0/16, and the subnet 3 would be 192.168.1.0/24, and your IP address would be getting here 192.168.1.4. correct? Simple understanding here.
Yes.
Now, can I able to connect between these two VNet by default? Anyone say answer? Same region, VNet 1, VNet 2, different VNet altogether, different IP addresses, address space. Can I connect with these two VM, 3 VMs by default?
No.
No. By default, there is no connection established between the VNet. But we can establish the connection between the VNet with the help of the process called as a network peering. This is called as a network peering. Or you can say VNet peering. This question would ask you interview, what is VNet peering? VNet peering have a two type of peering. One is peering can be done between VNet which has same region. This we called as a local peering. Second one, peering can be done between VNet different region. You might have the different region this VNet, right? Second VNet, third VNet might be the different region, and the peering can be established a different region. That process we call as a global peering. Understood? Okay, this is the most important. It is little bigger picture. No matter how many VNet you are going to create it, you can create across worldwide, different VNet you are created, different subnet you are creating, and our responsibility is to validate all network connections are established or not. The properly peering is configured done or not. So that's our response. We are doing network job as well, right? The cloud become what it is, multi administrator bringing in a one location, right? Network administrator has to work on that, VM administrator work on that, active directory has to work on that. So consolidated of all the administrator bringing in a one location, that is called as a cloud. We are so far doing for the network concept, network administration concept, right? One cloud administrator become a all aspect we need to talk about: network, storage, VM, active directory, and servers. So we need to know that is in all aspect how that is an IT infrastructure establishing, how the IT infrastructure is creating, start from the network, right? Across worldwide, wherever they have a data center, wherever they have business established, accordingly the requirement come to us: create a VNet, create a subnet. Then we would be talking about resources. You tell me your resources belongs to which location and which VNet, which we subnet, then you should be creating accordingly, right? Let's create another VNet. Is that understood, everyone? So far, anyone has any question? Anyone, any questions so far? Good to go? All clear?
Yes.
Okay. Let's begin with creating. How to create? You know that already creating VNet in a same. We would be talking about. We would be understand that same region we'll be creating VNet. Okay. Just say VNet. We already created VNet 1 now. Under this we have created multiple subnet. Now say that one more VNet create here, and I'm creating VNet 2 now. Same region, same resource group, which is VNet 2. Okay. And the same region, Central India.
So we will connect with the process is called local pairing, right?
Correct. This is called local peering. Okay. How we need to configure the local peering, we'll explain it. IP address. What was the IP address I said in a VNet, another VNet? That was 192.1. You can take any of the range of IP address. Okay. 192.168.0.0/16. Okay. /16, not 26. Right. In this, I would be creating subnet. The subnet name would be subnet 3, and subnet IP address would be 1.0.24. Add it. Okay. Next. Creating a virtual network VNet in the same region. Okay. Create it. All right. Go to resource.
Yes.
VNet 2 is created, and we have a subnet here, and we would be creating another VM under VNet 2, right? Let's come back into the same page. Give me a minute. That is, I don't know why it is asking here. Okay, let's come back here home. Click on the virtual machine. Create virtual machine. and I'm going to create a same resource group. The VM name would be VM4, and I'm going to selecting here same region, Central India. I don't need any availability zone, and standard Windows 2019, and you need to select username and password. Next, the most important under the networking, you would be selecting which VNet now. Should be selecting
VNet 2.
VNet 2, and your subnet 3 automatically is associated with this, correct? That's it. So next, go to the next. And create it. Now what would be the IP address released for this VM3? Should be, sorry, VM4 should be 192.168.1.4. Now, after creation of this VM, I will turn off the firewall. You try to ping the machines between these two VNet VM. It won't be. It will not be a connection established by default. But we have to do to connect between these two VNet. We have to do the process called as a peering, network peering. Then in the network peering, we would be having for two type, where we call as a local peering and global peering. Local peering means which is same region.
Yes.
Global peering means between the different region.
Different region.
That's it. Let's see. VM4 and validate the IP address 192.168.1.4 and take the public IP address. Add server. This is VM4 VNet 2. Connection this machine. Password. Turn off this firewall. Okay. CMD firewall.cpl. Turn off the firewall. Now what was the IP address is 10 dot ping 10.1.1.4. Do you able to ping?
No.
Right. Now same things from
IP was 10.0.1.
sorry, 10.0.1.4, correct. Ping 10.0.1.4. Thanks. Okay. Requested timeout. Connection is not established, even though after turn off the firewall, it is not establishing the connection. And same this, can you go and check it for the 2.4 as well? And from this side, VM1 side, can I connect the ping 192.168.1.4, no connection, correct? From VM4, no connection. From VMN, no connection, right? How do we connect these two between VNet? The process called as a
Local pairing.
VNet peering or local peering, because it's a same region. So that VNet peering, the peering should be created under the VNet. Okay. So where you need to go? We need to go to the VNet, and you decide from where to where you need to be create a peering. Okay. Say for example, VNet 1, I'm going to here. You can scroll down here. You would be able to see this peering option. In this peering option, you need to add, right? And you can give the name of the peering. Okay. VNet 1 to VNet 2. The name must begin with a letter or number, end with a letter, number, and underscore, and may contain only letter, numbers, underscore, period, or hyphen. So I'm given the space should not be taken. The space is not taken. Okay. So the peering name I'm giving, you can give any name of this VNet 1. So network connection should be VNet 1 to VNet 2. Now you can see this virtual network deployment model, resource manager, internal resource manager we are taking, and classic, it is not required so far now, because advanced level we will be, right? The after you have created the peering, you must complete the setup PowerShell that would be needed for the PowerShell connection. So use a resource manager, and using the subscription by default, which is Azure Pass. And now virtual network would be, now you are in a virtual network 1, correct? Here it is, add a peering, and now you are in virtual network 1, correct? So you need to select for the different network, virtual network 2, right? So from the VNet 1, you need to add the VNet 2. You are trying to creating for the VNet 2, you should be adding for the VNet 1. Okay. So now here, now what's happening here, right? It is in the configuration of the peering, this would be comes under as a remote. This is for, you can say, source end of the local, and this kind of second VNet would be a remote. Okay. So now for the remote person, for you to VNet 2. So remote virtual networking peering setting is VNet 2. Allow VNet 2 access VNet 1, right? Now advanced level, you would not, you would need to do the some allow VNet to receive a forwarded traffic from VNet, allow gateway route server VNet to the forward. Additionally, you needed, you can do these features is be recently added, but now we would need to only for, we don't need any traffic for the forwarding or other connections established. We would just validate the network, right? So now see this local virtual network summary. The once it is processed, you would be able to process from the other side. Now you can say this VNet 2 to VNet 1. It's just for the local virtual network summary from other side. And again VNet 1 to VNet. So ultimately the vice versa, it should be going to connecting like this. Both the side configuration is a one way is going to connection for this from source to a local to remote, and remote to local, both the side. Both the side connection should be going to be established here. Now after this, so just we are doing the configuration part for the front end GUI mode, but back end everything would be taken care, right? You just need to select the options what you needed, and then background the automatically the automate system has been created, and that connections automatically get established. See this. Now VNet 2 to VNet 1 and fully synchronized. Now you see this Can you able to see the peering status connected? Now earlier I was not able to ping for the 104 series. Earlier I was not able to, right? I'm able to connections. Now when you go to the VM1, okay, 10.2.4. You are in VM4. I should be able to check from 2.4. I'm able to establish the connection. 1.4 series. Earlier I was not able to ping the machine, right? You getting the difference here?
Yeah.
Right. Now if you go to the VM1, I was not able to ping the earlier 192.168.1.4, but now I can able to. Now the completely connections established, all the subnets between this VNet. Yes or no?
Yes.
And you have another VNet, which is not in a same region. You have a different region. So I would recommend you to practice for this, or you can do the lab for your create another VNet, okay, in a different region. Steps should be followed same, but only that VNet is a different region, and that is definition called as a global. This process we call as a local peering. This process we call as a local peering, and this process we call as a this process we call as a global peering.
Global.
That's it. So you simple again, you just go to this peering and add a peering, and if you created another VNet, you just select for that is from VNet 1 to VNet 3, and you select for the which VNet you wanted to take. It would be coming VNet 3, and that would be the different region. Is this clear?
Yes.
Overall connections establishing within that VNet, between the VNet, we understood this. Okay, now we have network established. Okay. So when we talk about the resource access part, which securely defined. For this, we need to understand that process called as a network security group. This would be talking about next week. In this network security group, we have that is in inbound and outbound, how to allow, denied. Okay, I have applications, I have a VM, which port should be allow, which port should be denied. So these are all with this existing network, we need to plan for how you, whom you want to provide access, whom do not want to provide access. We want to manage for the region with a proper secure manner. We'll be talking about next week.
Got it.
I'm very
So,
slow now so far now, because you guys need to understand the concept, because upcoming classes it would be a little, extend of the time, at least 1.5 hour or 2 hours. Yeah, go ahead. Someone is asking.
yes, sir. I was asking, will I get this document?
Yeah, I'll share it right away. So I thought to complete this, today's class, then only sharing. Okay, let me stop my recording. Anyone has any question so far now before I stop recording? Is it understood, everyone? What our topic we are going to talk about? Just we created network VNet, created a single subnet, multiple subnet, validated the connection between the multiple subnet within the VNet. We created another VNet, different in the same region, and that process we call as a peering, local peering. Another VNet if we create a different region, that called as a global peering, and you need to establish a connection with the help of VNet peering. Simple. Correct? Understood?
Yes.
Okay, let's stop my recording.